Hey guys, how you going? Metal here. Today I'm really going to focus on the beginning few minutes of the game. We're going to talk about that early game aspects in Pokemon Unite because it's a bit of a cookie cutter kind of start. And if you know when specific Pokemon are going to spawn and you know what Pokemon you need to fight for, then you're going to have a level advantage over the other team, which is going to allow you to get Drednaw easier and lead you into the game so you can snowball. Once you start snowballing, you have a better chance at leading before you get to Zapdos. You can defend against Zapdos, and all of a sudden the game has become much easier, and it can be decided in those first couple of moments. Before we get into it, guys, if this video does help you, make sure you give it a like and you subscribe to the channel if you're new. I would also love to hear down in the comments below, who do you think is the best Pokemon for the early game? I think Cramorant and Pikachu are really good, as they both have a massive presence early game, then kind of taper off later game. Alright, let's get into it. So what we need to do in the very first moment that the game starts, you need to know which lane you're going to. It is so important that you only attack the A-Poms in the lane that you're going to, and if you're juggling, do not touch the A-Poms. Do not touch them, because you're going to put yourself at a tiny bit of advantage, but you're going to disadvantage another two people in your team. It's not worth it, and it's really detrimental to that lane. And if you're one of those people that attacks a top A-Pom and then heads to the bottom lane, I will come and find you. Anyways, now when you're going towards the lane, it's really useful if you have someone that uses AoE, someone like a Cramorant, because when you have the two A-Poms that are together, ideally you want to be doing damage to both of them at the same time. If you can kill these A-Poms quicker, you get a better start at getting towards that middle Pokemon in the lane. Now in the top lane, you have two A-Poms that spawn near your goals, and they're pretty much two for each team, but there is a Corphish that spawns in the middle. This is something you want to fight over because this is the advantage that you can get in the early game. Now all these Pokemon spawn at 9:40 on the clock. So ideally, what you want to do is kill the Pokemon in your lane. You want to get towards that middle Corphish, and you want to take that before the opponent can get there. Then you come back and kill the other two A-Poms on your team. If you're bottom, this is the same with your Ordinos. At the top part of the bottom lane is the middle Ordino. You want to get that before you go back and get the one Ordino on your side. Now, the next Pokemon that's going to spawn is going to be a Corphish that spawns behind your goals at 9 o'clock on the dot. You want to go back and you want to get that, but be careful, because what some people do rather than getting their own Corphish is they try to do a sneaky score, because at this stage of the game, it's only going to take a second to be able to get that dunk. So just be careful of that as well. But you have to kill that Corphish very quickly, because only 10 seconds later, at 8:50, is when the Combee and the Vespiquens are going to spawn in the middle of your lane. Now, this is huge. That's a lot of Pokemon there, but they are very wrapped together. So if you, again, have something like a Cramorant, you have huge AoE to be able to take those down really quickly. Now, these take a little while to kill, but there is quite a bit of a gap before the next thing spawns. While you're landing, the next thing you want to look for are the next lot of Combees and Vespiquens, which is at 7:20. Now, if you're at the top lane, you have to either start rotating bottom or kill the bees very quickly. The Dreadnaw is the most important fight in the entire early game. Don't even worry about Rotom, that's not important. If they're going to take their time and go for Rotom instead of defending the Dreadnaw, that is good for you. Even if you lose that top gold, that is not important in the early game. If you can get that Dreadnaw, your entire team is going to get a lot of XP, and they're going to get shields as well. Dreadnaw is where the fight is won in the early game. What you'll see, especially as you go higher up in the ranks, is that everyone is going to be rotating bottom. If they happen to leave someone top for what they think is an easy Rotom, that is perfect. You have a 5 versus 4 situation. You can win a team fight, you can take Dreadnaw, and you're going to be in front of the game. Once the Dreadnaw is defeated either by you or by the other team, this is where things are going to start to change around a little bit, and it's not going to fit into that cookie cutter kind of build now. Depending on how Rotom's going, your team can rotate top and then take Rotom, and then you might be able to get that top goal as well. If it's been lost, that's when you might want to disperse. You might be looking for a fight. You might start to jungle. That's when things are going to change, and that's where it's going to head into the mid part of the game. The A-Poms, Ordino, and Corphish all spawn after 1 minute after they've been killed. The Dreadnaw and Rotom respawn after 2 minutes. So make sure you keep an eye on the time that the Dreadnaw goes down, so you know when it's coming back up again. Now, if you're looking to jungle, there's less things that you need to remember. At 9:45 is when you're going to get the Ludicolo, the Bufflin, and the two Corphish in your jungle that are all going to spawn at the same time. After you kill them, you might have a bit of time to do a quick gank, check out the other lanes, see how they're going, because at 8:45 is when those center 4 Corphish are going going to spawn. But make sure you're looking for ganks. Make sure you're ready to rotate bottom as well at the 7-minute mark so you can get that Dreadnaw and help out your team. Or maybe you just want to head to a lane to help your team secure either the Combies or the Vesper Queens for that particular lane. That fight can be a little bit touch and go. You don't know how it's going to go, but if your jungler comes in and helps out, then you're most likely going to secure those bees. So let me put a bit of a summary up here. These are all the times you need to remember, but depending on when you're laning or when you're jungling, for the first few Pokemon spawns in the lane. If you can take these, then what you can do is you can get a bit of a lead against your enemies, and you can make sure you've got extra XP than them, leading into Dreadnaw, which is going to snowball you throughout the game. Alright, I hope this video was helpful, guys. Don't forget to check me out twitch.tv/MetalFree4. I stream 5 days a week, and if you're new, don't forget to subscribe by clicking that button right there, and I'll see you in the next one. Have fun, guys.